All right, everyone, welcome. This is a quick little video. I'm gonna get you help to set up your Python environment. So your goal today is that you should be able to create a little Python program, and we're gonna create a program that outputs sentence "Hello World." And hopefully, you're gonna understand that programming at its core is just creating instructions top down. In this course, we're gonna be coding a language called Python, and we're going to code on a website called Replid, repl.it. So if you were to go to this link, you would be taken to here. What I want you to do is sign up and log into your GAPS account, and you click the Google button here, which will be just an automatic sign in. Now, since I'm not a new user, your screen is going to look very different from me, but I just wanted to go through all the little steps and fill out all the information you need. And then hopefully you'll be taken to this button or page called My REPL. As you can see, I have multiple folders set up for multiple classes and clubs that I run, and I have some random files here as well. What I want you to do is to create a new file called ICS20, and hopefully that you'll have your program and your codes organized, and we'll go from there. But let's talk about Replit. Well, Replit is a code editor and it's a website, so it has its very good advantages. First and foremost, it's quick and easy to start coding. Therefore, we don't need to do any installations. It also supports various different programming languages and also does folders for organization, and it's free. We don't need to pay for anything. Well, you could pay for stuff to become a pro member, I believe, but I don't think that's necessary. Some disadvantages: you need to have the internet to access it, right? You should be using supported browsers. I do recommend either Firefox or Chrome. I'll be using Chrome, so if you get different results on different internet browsers, I can't really help you out there. And you can time to time run into issues when Replit services are down, and I have experienced that in the past. Previous classes have experienced in the past, so we'll see what happens if that occurs. So what I want you to do is create an account, organize yourself, create folders for this course, change some settings. So to change settings, I want you to go to your folder, and we're going to start a new Replit. We're going to be programming in Python. And it's going to fill out a random name for you, but what we're going to call this is my first Python program. And your REPL is going to be created. Okay, so to edit your settings, we're going to look for the gear button to our left. And here are the things that I want you to change. So we're going to set the indent type to spaces. This is the requirement that the Python organization, the group who created Python, recommends you do. And they also recommend that we set our indent sizes to 4, which means that anytime we have to indent in our code, it will be 4 spaces. Now, you can just click tab and it will automatically create 4 spaces for you. Or if you choose to do so, you can click your spacebar 4 times. Some optional settings to change: you can change out the layout, you can change the theme if you want to go dark mode, and you can also change the font size. Some of the settings not to change are keybinds, wrapping, and code intelligence. These are some settings that I really don't think you should change unless you know what they are and you can look at them more. So for me, I'm going to go dark mode, and it looks much nicer. Side by side is great. Font size, let's set it to large. Indent type, once again, it should be spaces and with an indenting size of 4, which is the Python organized way. And your first Python program should look like this. Alrighty, so let's create your first Python program. So we're going to be coding these 4 lines here on line 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. So on the first line, what I like to do is just create a little title for the program I'm running, and the title is my first Python program. On the second line, you want to create write the creator, so it's by Mr. Park, and you should use your own name for here. And I'm going to start coding on line 4. I like to create a little line break in between the top comments, as we call them, and the actual code of my program. So we're going to print out using the function called print. Use either single or double quotation mark. That's up to you. And we're going to say hello, comma, world. So on the left side, I have my program where on line 1, 2, I've created a comment. These are readable notes that I can leave for the programmer to read later. And on line 4 is where I actually have an actual line of program code for our Python program to run. So speaking of run, if I run this, on the right side, this black box will output the message hello world into this box. This is something called an interpreter. What an interpreter does in Python, it reads our Python code starting at line 1. If you notice, we didn't get any output of line 1 and 2 in our interpreter. That's because a comment is ignored by the interpreter, because that's just for the programmer to read. We use comments to leave notes for programmers. But on line 4, I used a function called print, and it's printing this message, a text message of hello world. And that's the output that we got. So let's talk about that a little more. So why do I see pound symbols or hashtags on the top of my program? This is called a comment statement. Programmers leave comments for themselves and other programmers. The hashtag symbol is used to denote that the current line of code or statement is a comment. And there will be set guidelines later on in how to write these wrong, but right now we're gonna ignore that. What are the numbers to the left of my code? Those are line numbers that will help us reference certain lines of numbers, and as we program more together, I'll be asking you to write certain code on line X or examine line Y, so make sure to follow those numbers. Also, when you encounter an error on your code, the interpreter may tell you where it encountered the error, whether the Python error, I guess, messenger is not the most accurate. My general advice is that you look at the line directly above where the error has occurred based on the messenger. Next, what is print? In Python, there are a special set of words that are followed by parentheses or brackets, which we call them as functions or built-in functions. The programming language of Python will have these functions to help us create programs, manipulate code, and we're going to explore a lot of these in the future. And the most popular one that we're going to use is the print statement function. So print is a built-in function that outputs a message onto the console interpreter. The function is often used to output data for our programs. And also, print function won't activate your paper printer. Worried about that. So that was it. Today we talked about how to set up your Replid, making an account, and hopefully you created a folder and you're organizing your program. And also we learned what a print function does, and I promise you we'll get into a deeper dive later. But congrats on starting your first Python program.